Hello, welcome to Learn English with Technology podcast series, episode 28. Today we're taking a deep dive into how voice control is revolutionizing English learning. We've got 7 mind-blowing ways this tech is changing the game, and trust me, you are not going to believe how precise and personalized it can get.
Yeah, it really is incredible how these systems are, moving beyond just simple right or wrong feedback. What they're doing now is creating a learning experience that's tailored to you, to your individual needs, and, it can even help you sound more authentically English.
Okay, so first, let's jump into one of the things that really blew my mind, which was voice recognition for language learning. It's basically like having a personal pronunciation coach in your pocket,
Yep.
one who can hear every little detail of how you're speaking.
Exactly. And I think what makes this so cool is that the system can actually analyze everything about your pronunciation. So we're talking from the individual sounds all the way up to your rhythm and your intonation. It even gives you visual guides so you can actually see like how your mouth should be moving and all that.
I remember when I was learning English, I struggled so much with that thweth sound, even with like extra pronunciation classes. If I had this back then, I feel like it could have saved me so much time and frustration.
Totally. And it goes beyond just those individual sounds. It gets into like your intonation too, right? Those little subtle rises and falls that make English sound natural. So it's not just about getting the words right. It's about, like a conductor helping you orchestrate your words to make it a perfect performance.
I love that analogy. So yeah, it's not just about getting the words right. It's about making them sound authentically English.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about something called learning architecture. This is where it gets really interesting because it's kind of like having a personalized language gym that's just for you.
Think of it as like you walk into this learning environment and it's specifically designed to cater to you, your needs, your weaknesses. When you start practicing, it analyzes how you speak and creates this custom training program. So you're not wasting time on stuff you've already mastered. It's totally focused on what you need to improve.
So no more one-size-fits-all lessons. It's really all about you and where you need to improve, right?
Exactly, exactly. And so you'll get targeted exercises for, like pronunciation, complete with those visual guides, real-time feedback. It's like having a virtual pronunciation coach right there with you.
I also really like that it gives you realistic conversation scenarios. And it's all based on, like your interests and your proficiency level. So you're
Yeah.
not just practicing random phrases. You're actually learning how to use English in like, situations that are relevant to your life.
Absolutely. So whether you're thinking about prepping for a job interview or a business meeting or just a casual chat with friends, the system will help you build your fluency and your confidence in those areas that matter most to you.
And then, talking about confidence, I think the vocabulary practice feature is amazing. It doesn't just test your memory. It actually helps you learn how to use those new words in like the right context.
Yeah, it's all about being able to use those words in real conversations, not just like recognizing them on a list, right? And then on top of that, there's this thing, a grammar pattern recognition feature that's kind of like a smart editor for your speech, which is really cool.
Oh, tell me more about that because that sounds really incredible.
So as you're speaking, it identifies patterns in your grammar and it can like gently correct those common mistakes. But here's the best part. It doesn't just point out the errors. It actually helps you understand like why certain grammatical patterns work better in English.
That is amazing. It's like having like a personal grammar tutor who's
Yeah.
like always there to guide you. Okay, so now we have this incredible personalized learning environment, but how do we actually interact with it? Right? How does it actually work?
Right. And that's where learning command structure comes in. So these systems, they're designed to like respond to your voice commands. It makes the whole learning experience super dynamic and, convenient. Let's say you're getting ready for a job interview, right? You could just say like practice job interview. And then the system will create this super realistic scenario that actually adapts to how you respond in real time.
So it's like if I make a pronunciation mistake during this mock interview, it'll seamlessly incorporate more practice on that sound without me even having to ask for it.
Exactly, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
constantly adjusting to what you need to make sure that you're getting the most effective practice possible. And then, if you want to switch it up and practice something more casual, you could just say, start casual conversation. It's like having this patient friend who's always ready to help you improve.
This is honestly blowing my mind. I never realized how much these systems could actually do. So they're analyzing your pronunciation, they're making these personalized lessons, they're letting you practice these realistic conversations. What else could they possibly offer?
Well, hold on to your hats because next we're going to dive into learning progress management. which is basically like having a personal learning detective that's tracking your every step as you learn English.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more.
So the system creates this detailed map of how you're progressing. It looks at everything from your pronunciation improvements to your vocabulary growth, and it identifies your learning patterns, it pinpoints your weaknesses, and it gives you real-time metrics to see how you're improving. It's like watching your high score climb in a video game. You can literally see your accuracy percentages go up, your vocabulary expand, and your confidence grow.
That sounds so motivating. It's like having a reminder of how far you've come and it keeps pushing you forward.
Absolutely, and it celebrates all those milestones, big and small. Whether you've mastered a tricky sound or you've completed a hard exercise or you just hit a new vocabulary goal, it's there to acknowledge all those achievements and, keep encouraging you to keep going. Now, let's go even deeper. Let's see what's happening behind the scenes when you're speaking English into one of these systems. It's time to talk about voice learning processing.
All right, I'm ready. What exactly is going on in those milliseconds between when I say something and I get feedback?
So basically, when you say a word, right, the system instantly compares how you said it to this massive database of like native speaker samples. But the cool thing is, it doesn't just tell you if you're right or wrong. It goes way deeper than that, giving you a full breakdown, showing you exactly where your pronunciation is spot on and where you might need a little tweaking. It's like having a high-tech music tuner for your speech, helping you fine-tune every sound.
So it's not just about identifying errors, it's about helping you understand all the nuances
Yeah.
and really getting those subtle details right.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop with sounds. It looks at how fluent your speech is, how fast you're talking, your pauses, how you connect your words. It's like having a dance instructor for your words, helping you find that natural flow. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about accents? Does the system try to erase your accent entirely?
Yeah, that's a great question because, I mean, I wouldn't want to lose the part of my voice that makes me me.
And you don't have to. The system actually gets that your accent is a part of who you are. So it's not about trying to eliminate it. It's more about refining your pronunciation just enough to make sure that you're clear and understandable. It's kind of like fine-tuning an instrument, so that every note comes out crystal clear, but you still keep that unique sound.
That makes so much sense. It's about being understood while still being you, being able to keep that part of your voice.
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of learners are going to appreciate.
Totally. And the best part is, all this processing happens in real time, faster than any human teacher ever could. It's amazing how far this technology has come. Okay, so ready to switch gears a bit. Let's talk multi-platform learning, because these systems are made to work perfectly with all your devices.
Yeah, that's huge because I know, I'll start learning on one device and then I want to switch to another, and it's so frustrating to have to, start over.
I know, right? But with these new systems, you can pick up exactly where you left off no matter what you're using. You could be practicing your pronunciation on your phone while you're on your way to work, then switch to your laptop during your lunch break, and then finish up on your tablet later that night. It all syncs perfectly. Your progress, your challenges, everything is right there with you.
So, if I finish a speaking exercise on my phone, all those achievements are going to be reflected on my other devices too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's like having a master progress report that's always up to date, no matter what device you're on. Plus, your learning resources are synced too. So if you find a cool business English dialogue on your phone, it'll be waiting for you on your smart speaker at home.
That is so convenient. It's like having your own personal language learning library right there in your pocket. And what about managing my practice schedule? Making sure I actually stick to it. Is there a way to do that without feeling overwhelmed?
Of course, you can set reminders on any of your devices, and they'll sync across your entire learning ecosystem. Let's say you miss your morning practice. No worries. Your device will just automatically adjust your schedule so you don't miss out on any learning. It's like having a personal assistant for your English learning. It's making sure you're staying on track and really getting the most out of your practice time. Okay, so we've covered a lot: pronunciation analysis, personalized lessons, multi-platform learning, and it's all been incredibly impressive. But there's one more thing we have to talk about, and that's learner privacy protection.
Yeah.
I mean, with all this data being collected, synced across devices, it's totally natural to, be a little worried about security.
Oh, absolutely. You're right to bring that up. And these systems take privacy really seriously. They have all these really strong security features in place to keep your info safe. So Every little bit of your student data, like your pronunciation attempts, your vocab practice, all of it, it's all encrypted. Like it's locked up tight in a personal vault. No one else can get in.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So no one else can listen to my practice sessions or see my progress.
Nope, it's all completely private. And when you're practicing, sensitive stuff like business presentations or those job interview responses, it puts up an extra layer of security, like you're in your own private language classroom.
I like that. That makes me feel much more comfortable. What about my personal information, like my name and my email and all that? Is that kept separate from my learning data?
Absolutely. All those details are totally separate using anonymous identifiers when you're practicing. It's like wearing an invisibility cloak while you learn. Your real identity stays hidden. So rest assured, your privacy is a top priority.
That is definitely good to know. It's amazing how much thought has gone into making these systems not just powerful learning tools, but tools that respect your privacy and keep your information safe.
And that's a big part of what makes this tech so revolutionary. It's giving learners the power to really take control of their English language journey while giving them the support and peace of mind they need to succeed. Something that's really been on my mind is how these voice control systems are like shifting our whole idea of what it means to learn English. Like, we're not stuck with textbooks and classrooms anymore. We can literally learn anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, that's so true. Like, imagine being able to work on your vocab while you're making dinner or, practice conversations while you're on your morning commute. It's amazing how it just fits into our lives now.
Totally. And because it's all personalized, you're always getting the most out of your practice time. It's like having a tutor who's constantly adapting to you right there by your side.
Speaking of personalized learning, let's talk about how these systems actually track your progress. It's like they have this built-in, like, learning detective, keeping tabs on your whole English language journey. What do you think about that feature?
Honestly, it's a game changer, especially for language learners. Think about it. Like the old ways of learning, they relied on these really vague assessments or like someone's opinion, right? But with these systems, you get hard data, like real numbers showing you how you're improving. You can see your pronunciation getting clearer, your vocab growing, your fluency going up, and that's really motivating, right?
I bet. Instead of just feeling like you're making progress, you can actually see it happening. It's like, leveling up in a game. You get that sense of achievement, and that keeps you going.
Exactly. And it goes even deeper than just tracking your overall progress. It actually looks at your individual learning patterns. Like it pinpoints your weaknesses, the things you need to work on. And having that level of detail lets you focus your energy where it matters most so you're learning more efficiently.
So instead of just saying, hey, work on your pronunciation, it might say, you're having trouble with word stress in three-syllable words or something like that.
Right, exactly. It's like having a coach who can zero in on what you need. And that kind of targeted feedback helps you work on those areas and improve your skills way more effectively.
It's amazing how this technology is like, you know, bringing together the best of both worlds, personalized learning, and like super advanced tech. And speaking of advancements, let's dive into something that's super fascinating: voice learning processing. What's actually happening behind the scenes when you're speaking into one of these systems? What's going on in there?
It's pretty wild. In just a fraction of a second, everything you say is analyzed and compared to this massive database of native speakers. But get this, it doesn't just tell you right or wrong. It gives you this in-depth breakdown of your pronunciation, highlighting the things you're nailing and the things that might need some work.
It's like having an X-ray for your speech. You can actually see the things you might not even notice otherwise.
Yeah.
I bet that's super helpful, especially if you really want to sound more natural.
Oh, definitely. And it's not just about copying sounds. It's about understanding like the little details, the intonation, the stress, the rhythm, all those things that make English sound natural and authentic.
Right. And I know a lot of people worry about losing their accent when they learn a new language. So
Sure.
what about accents? Do these systems try to like get rid of them completely?
No, not at all. Your accent is part of who you are, part of your background. These systems totally get that. So instead of trying to wipe out your accent, it's more about working on your pronunciation to make sure that people understand you.
So it's about striking a balance between keeping your unique voice and making sure your English is clear to everyone.
Yep, exactly. It's not about erasing who you are. It's about making sure you can communicate effectively.
That's a really good point. It's about finding that sweet spot where you feel good about how you sound and people can understand you without any problems. Okay, let's talk about something that's super relevant these days.
Yeah.
Multi-platform learning. These systems are designed to work across all our devices, so we can basically learn English on the go. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's a game changer, especially if you're busy, right? Imagine starting your practice on your phone in the morning, then jumping on your laptop during lunch, and then finishing up on your tablet later. These systems let you do that like seamlessly. You can pick up right where you left off.
It's like having a perfectly synced learning experience that fits into our crazy busy lives. No matter where you are, what device you're using, everything's right there with you.
Exactly. It makes learning way more engaging and convenient. And it turns those little bits of downtime we all have into learning opportunities.
It's about making it a natural part of your life, not something you have to force into your schedule.
That's it. It's about breaking down barriers and making learning easier and more fun. Okay, so we've talked about how effective these systems are, but there's always that question of data privacy, right? Especially with all this info being collected, sent between devices. It's normal to be a little concerned about security.
Totally. So how do these systems handle all that?
You're totally right to ask. Privacy is super important, and these systems have gone to great lengths to protect your info. They use strong encryption to keep everything safe, like your personal details, your learning progress. It's all locked up tight.
So it's like having a high security vault for all your learning data. That's reassuring.
Absolutely. And to go even further, they use these anonymous identifiers for your practice sessions. So your personal details are separated from your learning data. It's like you're invisible while you're learning, keeping your identity safe.
That's a great way to put it. It shows how much thought they've put into not just making these systems effective, but also making them safe and private for learners.
Exactly. It's about giving learners the tools they need, but also giving them the confidence and peace of mind to really focus on their goals.
It's amazing to think about how we've gone from those clunky language labs
Yeah.
to these systems that can give us personalized English practice, right in our pockets.
It really is a huge shift, right? And the best part is it's available to anyone who has a smartphone or a computer.
Exactly. It's like democratizing language learning,
Yeah.
making it accessible to everybody.
Totally. And what's really exciting is that it doesn't stop there. This tech is constantly evolving. Like all the time, they're coming out with new features, new improvements. So the learning experience just keeps getting better and better.
I know, it's incredible. I remember when learning English meant cracking open a textbook and doing the same drills over and over. It's amazing how much things have changed.
Oh, yeah, it's a whole different world now. Now we have these tools that make learning fun, engaging, and most importantly, effective. It's like having a personal tutor and a high-tech language lab all in one.
It really is. It opens up so many possibilities. It makes you wonder, if we can do all this now, what's next? What's the future of language learning going to look like?
Ooh, that's a great question. I kind of imagine a world where, language barriers just don't exist anymore, where we can all understand each other perfectly, regardless of where we come from. Imagine traveling to any country and having a real conversation, no misunderstandings, no awkwardness.
That would be incredible. It would change everything. Travel, business, how we connect with different cultures. It
Yeah.
would make the world so much smaller.
Exactly. And honestly, with how fast AI and voice recognition are developing, I think that future might be closer than we think. Maybe someday we'll have these real-time translators that are so good it'll be like we're all speaking the same language.
Or, maybe we'll have AI tutors that can actually hold natural conversations, give us feedback, and keep us motivated. The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
They really are. But, for now, let's focus on what we have right now because even the tools we have today are amazing.
Absolutely. These voice control systems are a total game changer. Whether you're just starting out or you've been learning for a while, they can help you reach that next level.
And the best part, they're accessible to everyone. You don't need to shell out tons of money for tutors or fancy courses. All you need is your phone or your computer and, of course, the desire to learn.
So if you're ready to take your English to the next level, I definitely recommend checking out these voice control systems. You might be surprised at how much you can achieve.
And, most importantly, have fun with it. Learning a new language should be enjoyable, and these systems make it easier than ever to stay motivated and have a good time while you're doing it.
Well said. On that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of voice control for English learning. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you learned something new and that you're feeling inspired to give this tech a try.
It's been awesome sharing our thoughts with you. And remember, the best way to improve is to practice, practice, practice. So don't be afraid to experiment with these new tools and see what works for you.
And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Let's help more people discover the power of these amazing learning tools.
We truly believe that anyone can become fluent in English. And with these technologies, that dream is closer than ever before.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on the Learn English with Technology podcast series.
Happy learning!